that wants to rule the world.
Oh, maybe he's just misunderstood. Anyway, he's going to keep being misunderstood as we start the game here. You see our starting stats at the bottom. We have 6 strength only, so it might be a little bit of a slow start. We can take out slimes, though. It's probably what our runners will be most looking for. And we'll see what they get in the throne room. Ooh, they're going to get an extra magic key out of it.
Yeah, absolutely, and then a vanilla torch as well. So nothing too bad in the throne room. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw someone attempt for a gold grind here right off the start, because it's fairly easy and able to maintain. And Tristal goes for it, but Bobski doesn't. So we'll see what happens, especially with this town being southeast of the castle right here. And it is Garenham, so that's a big thing for Bobski if there's a gold grind here and he happens to hit it, seeing as how the silver shield and the magic armor are here.
We don't care about that 6 strength anymore. I kind of like Bobski's play, really, because now he has that information. Gold grinds you don't know what's around are tough, because you don't know where you're going to have to take the gold to or what you're going to gold grind. But Bobski knows that all the stuff's there. Maybe passing on it, though. Maybe he's going to try a gold grind somewhere else. But Tristal has looked in the treasury. He's found both an extra key, which he's farming now, and he's found gold, which he's taken a bunch of.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be really interesting to see just how far he goes with it. Just because he hasn't seen outside the castle yet, so he doesn't know that there's a town right there. So it's very, very likely that we won't see him go all the way for all 3 pieces of equipment. Maybe just silver shield money. But it'll definitely be interesting to see how this goes. And Bobski noping out of Garenham and deciding, okay, it's time for me to go check the treasury. Let's find out what's going on here.
Yeah, so Bobski with that information did reset. I think he might have been just looking in the back of Garenham in case the sword was there or something. But so what he's done is he's activated, and Tristal too, they both activated the chest glitch. So the game only able to keep record of 8 open treasure chests. So you saw Bobski and Tristal both took the 3 chests in the throne room. And those 3 chests are marked open anytime you walk into the throne room. So Bobski got credit for the 3. He's going to get credit for the 3 again here. He walks back into the throne room, gets credit for 3 more. He's up to 6. He opens up 2 in the treasury. That's 8. And now that array is full, so he goes to open the 9th chest. Game doesn't know what to do, and so just leaves the chest there, allowing you to take it over and over and over and over again. So Bobski resetting to set up his gold grind. Maybe I missed, did he not go back in the throne room? Either way, he's going to set it up. And Tristal doesn't have the information yet, but he's going the full amount, so he's going to be thrilled when he sees Garenham, the broadsword, the magic armor, and silver shield.
Yeah, and we're pretty much going to be set for equipment for a majority of the seed. The broadsword adding 20 attack power to her total is going to make just about anything in Zone 1 toppleable. And then also that 11 HP and that only 6 defense power is no longer going to be an issue as well. So we're going to see his stats just kind of level out to where he's going to be able to grind some much tougher enemies, and we'll be seeing some very, very quick experience here.
Yeah, that armor and sword that we're talking about, the broadsword will add 20 attack power, so you're going to be up to 26 attack power, which is fine. The defense, with the magic armor and silver shield, you add 44 defense, so you're going to be up at 50 defense, and that's defense breaking mid-game enemies already. So yeah, anything in Zone 1 or Zone 0, Zone 1 is just going to fall at their feet and hand over the experience.
Yeah, the only enemy that I'd be worried about in seeing Zone 1 or Zone 0 would be a wolf. A wolf is still going to be dealing anywhere from 0 to 7 damage, so that might be a little difficult for them to handle with this low HP, but I'm sure that we'll see some experience before that becomes a thing.
Tristal refilling on keys in the back. I'm going to go check what's in the basement of Tantagle with his riches, and it is a dark cave that appears to be Mountain Cave?
Yeah, this is Mountain Cave, and he just lost half his gold. So he's going to reset. I want to see him step outside of the castle here. Yeah, that's a costly gamble there.
Well, he had safety save the gold. I think he just wanted the information what was back there. Maybe it's bonus cave with a sword or something like that. So I think he was just scoping it out. But he has walked outside. He's taken his riches to Garanham, and he's about to get the good news.
Yeah, absolutely. This is just a fantastic fall of events for him, and it'll be super good. Bobski also, I believe, has enough gold for all 3 equipment. It takes, 24,000 altogether? Or is it 25? It's 25,000. So he's a little short on gold right now.
So as Tristal completes his shopping, he's going to check the back of Garanham, and we saw on Bobski's screen earlier it was sort of not a lot to speak of back there, but Tristal will check it all.
So the Stones of Sunlight were back here, and we also have a Cursed Belt back here, which brings one of the search spots guaranteed into play for Erdrick's Token or the Flute to be on a search spot. So there's 3 search spots in the overworld. You have the one that is actually located at random coordinates on the overworld, and then you have one that is underneath of Gwyn's shop in Hawksness, and then you have one that is 4 steps south of the Bath in Cole. So that's given our runners some information. So
one of the funny things about seeds like this that I love is there's so many errands and so many things to do at the beginning, and they're set up really well. It took us 6 minutes before we got our first experience points, but our runners did a whole bunch of errands, a whole bunch of things they're going to have to do. Now they know things like that are helpful for later in the game. Like you said, the Stones of Sunlight, the Harp Tradings behind Garanham, Mountain Caves under Tantegel. So they haven't been getting experience, but they've definitely been checking off a lot of these boxes.
yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is level 2 not bringing much on the semblance of strength, but we are getting some decent agility. 20 agility for level 2 is pretty good.
Yeah, this is kind of a interesting little choice here. You've got the desert, which has some weaker enemies, some zone 0 enemies, and you saw Tristal kind of wander out a little bit, maybe trying to find the next zone over to find some stronger enemies worth more experience, but you have to go into forest tiles there, and the encounter rate lower on the forest tile.
So the thing that's kind of striking me as odd is that nobody has taken a step over into the mountains that are just east of Garanham there. There's a pretty good chance that that's a different zone over there.
Oh, that's right, yeah, and those mountains offer the same encounter rate that the desert would, too.
Yeah, and either way, this is a very, very quick grind with us using only 75 experience points, by the 75% experience. So, anyways, big shout out to our tracker, who I believe is Ali Gerbrap today. He has a lot to keep track of so far in this race, and he's doing a fantastic job.
Ooh, Bobski is wandering over towards those mountains, and he finds a scorpion with hurt, so that's nice. They still have relatively low HP, so always seeing that hurt spell. You have the hurt resistance from magic, so that's nice.
Level 4 coming with some much needed strength now, up to 34 attack power, 31 agility. All the stats now in the white, but more importantly, they now have the heal more spell. So we have a heal.
Well, we do, but the game's been a little trolly to us at the start here. We have a heal more spell. We can cast it 1 time to get our 28 HP back. So heal more is always nice to have, but at this point, I think you might even prefer to have the heal spell. But I guess we'll take what we get.
Absolutely, and Bobski running into the fun police and is immediately sent home. That's pretty much a guaranteed thing at these lower levels.
Yeah, there's no spell that's going to save you from that. He's going to go check out the basement, though. Maybe go take a trip through Mountain Cave and see what he can...
Yeah, and I definitely agree with this play as well. I really like it. He's going to be able to restock on some keys. He'll be able to check into the Mountain Cave and check another 5 boxes right out the gates. So Lorgon, stats are a little low. HP is not very good. Strength not very good. MP is a problem. But agility, since we have started, has gained, what is it, 20, 25 points, something like that?
Yeah, the agility is looking okay. It's still a little tough to run from some of the higher tier enemies, but at level 4, 31 agility is not so bad. And that not only helps with running, that also helps with your defensive power too. So sure, speaking of take it, bobski gets a nice kill on that Spectre worth a whole bunch, and they're both going to level up to 5 at roughly the same time and get a ton of power.
There we go, the double-digit strength gain. So up to 25 strength. We're not looking too shabby now. I'd say that this is pretty average for what I've been seeing lately.
Wow, and bobski just putting the hurt on these Spectres. Those Spectres might be worth more than anything else in this cave. Earlier when I said nothing interesting in Garanham, sure, the Stones of Sunlight are a quest item, but you're not really in any rush to find them. We're not about to put together the Rainbow Drop anytime soon. If we take a minute or two to get there, it's fine. The only real thing of urgency at this point, since they already have keys, would be the sword. So you have to check the cave at some point, but it's not really a big rush to do it. Those Spectres, though, just dumping 90 experience on bobski, that is helpful for right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And even though Bobski's getting a little bit more efficient of a grind here, he's not as far along on experience as Tristal is. And Tristal is finding another town just east of Garanham here. So we have a big cluster of stuff right here at the start. And that's always nice to see.
And as Lorgon did point out in chat, the first chest in the mountain cave had the death necklace. The death necklace, as bobski gets killed by a magic weapon before he gets that last chest, but the last chest not far away. The death necklace will, if you put it on, it is a cursed item, so you can't, King kicks you out and all that, but it will give you plus 10 strength in exchange for 25% of your HP. So at the end of the game, if we're lacking on strength and have high HP, our runners might throw on to help them with the Dragon Lord fight. And as we watch bobski go back for the 5th chest, Tristal has found Cantlin was the town that you mentioned, Muse, that he found over there. He does have a key, so he's going to be able to check the coordinates. He's checking out the shops, maybe looking for a flame sword just to see. The flame sword, the only armor, or only weapon more powerful than the broadsword that he could get right now. But he's going to be able to talk to that man right there, and that old man right there. He has to make it through all these barrier tiles, but he's close to home, so he'll probably just Death Orb. And that old man will give him coordinates to an overworld search spot. That search spot could contain a token, which is one of our 3 quest items, could contain Erdrick's armor, the best armor in every RPG ever, or could contain the fairy flute.
53 south and 91 east. Those are some big coordinate numbers, and it looks like Tristal is going to try to get out of here. He might have enough to do it. He'll need a little bit of luck from his rolls on his herbs. So, but it looks like he makes it out safe in town.
Did someone say Trislock? He does get out, though, and he's going to continue on his exploration. Bobski on his way back to the mountain cave. It looks like he's trying to Death Warp out. I missed the last chest. Looked like Bobski was walking back and forth, trying to get out of this mountain cave via Death Warp, and the Red Dragon will oblige. Oh, and thanks to our tracker Ali, or restreamer Ali, sorry. Looks like the last chest was a cursed belt, so we've seen 2 of them now, I guess.
Yeah, so that's all 3 search spots in play. It's been a while since I've seen a seed that all 3 of them are in play.
Yeah, so those 3 search spots you spoke of, the armor must be in one of them. The Erdrick's armor must be in one of them. But the token and the flute could be in treasure chests, or they could be on overworld search spots. However, if the token or flute are in treasure chests, they replace cursed belts. So as soon as you see cursed belt, wow, that's beautiful cave location there. I hope that's Swamp Cave North and Swamp Cave South. But if you see cursed belts, that means the token or flute did not replace them. So once you see 2 cursed belts, you know that both the token and flute are somewhere on the overworld. So those coordinates that Tristal found, he could make that really, really long walk and get a fairy flute.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love how maniacal we all are sometimes. talking about the two caves right together being, swamp north and swamp south. I personally always go for Erdrick's sword being on the judges' table when I'm not the one racing. It's always interesting to see what little deviances we all just try to come up with.
Hey, I raced one a few weeks ago where Swamp North and Swamp South were about 5 tiles away, and I took an extra lap through them. So if those are actually Swamp North and Swamp South, I'm going to expect Tristal to take a couple laps through them just for fun. But yeah, speaking of Tristal and Cantlin and looking at the shops, the Flame Sword, if you did a grind for a Flame Sword, the Flame Sword will only give you 8 attack power over the Broadsword, so it's a little better than the Broadsword. That said, if Tristal still has to go through Mountain Cave, if you're going through Mountain Cave anyway looking for stuff, Cantlin's not very far away. If it had a Flame Sword, then sure, why not? But I don't think it's going to be a high priority. Just if he happens to find himself in a situation, he might go pick it up.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that the big thing there is convenience. Is it going to be convenient to do it? Because realistically, 9,000 gold when you're getting 500 to 700 gold a chest really doesn't take that long to grab that gold grind. So if it was a death necklace chest that was allowing the gold grind, I'd be a lot more hesitant about doing it.
All right, we're gonna get our cave check here. Oh, is this? It's dark. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, come on, come on. Aw, we had Swamp South in the first one, and its Tablet is the next one over.
I think that Tristal knew, and he was just trying to egg you on.
I know, he lit up Swamp and got my hopes up, but he's going to get one free chest in here. We'll see what it is. There's still a few quest items, or of course, we're still hunting for that sword, Erdrick's sword, and it's none of those, it's the wings.
Well, wings aren't too bad with this low of MP and without the return spell, so it's definitely something nice to see when you don't have the stats to really be spending on return, or if you don't have return altogether.
Or you could always use the return service that Bobski found, the Red Dragon return service. Those are pretty effective. But yeah, as Tristal finishes out his mountain cave, or his tablet cave, Bobski did pick up the coordinates and Death Warped out, so he knows he's got a lengthy trek to make to that search spot.
Oh, there's the big C on Tristal's side here. And he runs face first into a green dragon.
Ooh, I was about to say maybe it does look like it's accessible. It looks like it might be one of those cases where like you can only get to the back side and you have to like walk all the way around. But it looks like you can access Sharlock from there, so not very far away from the castle. That could be convenient when it comes time to dive because you don't have to go very far to try like another time or something. Okay, well, Bobski sees the 2 caves. We now know they're not Swamp North and Swamp South. Let's see if Bobski eggs me on. Ooh, Bobski's suffering the same fate as Tristal did earlier. The Armored Knight does not want them to see those caves.
Yeah, well, with 34 agility, you're probably not going to get away from an Armored Knight when you can only survive 2 attacks.
Tristal just making good use of his gear and taking out a Wyvern. Those are worth a good chunk of experience, and Bobski's going to get a Wolf too, so Runner's able to pick up some experience while they're looking around here. Ooh, well, the Wolf has Baby Breath. That's sort of annoying, but Bobski's going to make use of his heal. Looks like the Wolf likes using his Baby Breath too, so we might not be seeing many more Wolves, at least for the time being.
Yeah, definitely not for a bit here until we're more realistically able to take him down in 2 hits.
Oh, and looking on the other side, Tristal finds a Golem that has Hurt More. Actually, that's kind of good. Golems punch for a lot, and with the magic armor, we have Hurt More resistance. So you saw the Hurt More did a lot less than the attack. But at these levels, the Golem's going to do a lot of damage either way.
Yeah, absolutely. But the really nice thing about it is they might be susceptible to stop spell later on. So that might be a potential thing later.
Yeah, the Golem is one of those, 6 enemies that can be found in a Spike Tile, and there's Spike Tile in Swamp Cave, there's a Spike Tile in Hawksness, where you're guaranteed to encounter every time you step on it. So yeah, if you have a Golem on one of those, and the Golem likes casting Hurt More, you just spend 2 MP to cast Stop Spell, and now suddenly the Golem's barely doing any damage at all. So yes, that could definitely be a potential grind option later on, if one of them shows up on a Spike Tile. And Crystal sees a red dragon, just see you later, like it's nothing.
So this is why we all sit there and say that agility does nothing for us. So Crystal just ran away from a red dragon and is now failing to run from a blue dragon, which the difference there is roughly about, I don't know, let's see, it'd be almost 45 or 50 agility after you calculate their stuff out.
Yeah, the blue should be easier. I mean, what basically happened there was Tristal got amazing luck on the red dragon, because admittedly, even on 35 agility, Tristal probably should have gotten away by now. But 35 agility, you don't have great chances to run from that blue dragon. Oh my gosh, that was like 6 or 7 run.
Yeah, 6 or 7 run fails. Right now, he's, if my math is correct, he's at like 27% chance to run away from red dragons, and he's about a 34% chance to run away from blue dragons. So it's pretty close between the two of them, but not super close.
Yeah, the good news for Tristal was he was pretty close to the castle, so it's not too long for him to just restart, head on back out there and keep exploring. Bobski, meanwhile, I think I saw him checking out the shops as well. Maybe he's thinking the same thing. If he stumbles across Garen's grave or something like that, he might just set up a gold grind if it's convenient to pick up that extra flame sword and that extra 8 attack, but I doubt he'll go out of his way to do it. Oh, see, Bobski is egging me on. He's walking through Swamp Cave. Imagine if we hadn't seen this yet. I'd be sitting here all rooting for, come out the other side. Oh, man. But we'll see. Bobski's going to show us where it goes, and we know it does not go right next.
Yep, and Tristal used up all his luck last time. Not going to happen this time, though. Meanwhile, Bobski taking on a knight with the hurt spell. I actually like this play. It's a little risky, but it's definitely doable.
Especially with that heal more. And I think I saw Bobski took a little right turn there, and I think he's checking the spike tile. He does know the coordinates. They're probably going to require, almost certainly going to require a princess. So maybe he wants to keep that in the back of his mind, what's on that spike tile. And maybe hoping, if it has some weak ability, maybe even hoping to take it out here. Although he doesn't have the outside spell, so... Oh boy, I think we just found our grind spot. That looked like an Axe Knight on the spike tile, so we're not quite powerful enough to take out an Axe Knight yet, but once Hurtmore shows up, once we get some more stats, I think we're going to be piling up Axe Knights in the corner and just going to town. That Swamp Cave was not even far from the castle. That looks like an obvious grind spot. Paul Doug, right? Yeah, once Hurtmore's learned, so I probably just cursed them for level 16 Hurtmore, right? Sorry, guys.
It's okay. With the way that this seed is currently looking, I'm probably going to be leaving for restream, so you can just blame me.
Ooh, I can get in all my commentators' curses now and say, you said it. Perfect. Sounds good to me. Meanwhile, coming out of Mountain Cave, or coming out of Swamp Cave, Bobski spotted another cave just north of the exit, currently dealing with this Magiwyvern, which would be a nice little boost in experience, but now Bobski's short on resources, only the herbs left to heal, so if this is Garen's grave, I'm not sure how far he'll get into it. Meanwhile, apparently Tristal taking Dragon Warrior to heart. He's found, I've seen nothing but dragons every time I look over on his screen.
Yeah, absolutely. They seem to be crawling all over the place.
Oh, and Bobski does find the grave. Hopefully he can get to those 3 chests. Oh no.
And it's another blue dragon.
So that's why they call it Dragon Warrior. Ooh, and Bobski's gonna follow this Magiwaver. But the good news is he knows where the grave is. It's not really that far. He has to walk through Swamp Cave, but Swamp Cave is close to the castle, so he can get back to the grave pretty quickly. And he does still need his Silver Harp. Not a huge rush for that, but you know, there's still that Erdrick sword out there, and so he's gonna want to check the top 3 chests in the grave for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing for it as well is that those top 3 chests, they really aren't that far of a walk depending upon the encounters that you get. So he's probably just going to check this other cave here, which I believe was the Tablet Cave, if I remember right. And then we'll probably see him explore a little bit east, and we'll probably see him return to that grave a little bit later, seeing as how those top 3 chests are just super quick to grab.
And again, as far as chests go, there's nothing super urgent. Bobski has seen both cursed belts, I believe, so he knows the token needs to be on the overworld somewhere. You know, there's a fighter's ring hanging out in a chest somewhere that's +2 attack power. It's not super urgent to get. In fact, we may not need it all. The Erdrick sword is the only thing that we really, really want. And even at this point, you know, the Erdrick sword would give you +20 over the broadsword. Obviously, we'll take that. But, you know, if he holds off, does a little exploring and holds off on those treasure chests for a few minutes, it's probably not the end of the world.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Exploration and finding the remaining towns at this point is a much bigger priority.
Oh, and I missed it over on Tristal's side, but Tristal picked up a level, and look what didn't show up at level 16. It's Hurtmore. So once Tristal goes and looks at that spike tile, especially because he knows the coordinates are probably going to require the princess, and he knows that the Swamp Cave is up there, he's going to see that Axe Knight, and he's going to have Hurtmore. I don't think the Axe Knight's going to last very long. Ali pointing out in chat that wizards have stop spell. That could be pretty nice. That could allow our runners to take out wizards much earlier than they normally would, and wizards worth a nice 120 experience. Bobski right on Tristal's tails, picking up his Hurtmore right now too. So he's going to be able to start destroying some of these enemies like the Wyvern or like that Magiwyvern that was giving him so much trouble just a couple minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, Hurtmore for Bobski with the current zone that he's in is actually pretty decent. And look at this. Did Tristal go through the Swamp Cave?
Yeah, I just saw that. I think Tristal's coming up on Grave, and I'm pretty sure he didn't go through Swamp Cave, so we might be looking at a one-continent deal.
Yeah, that definitely appears to be the case. So with that being the case, with that being said, I wonder. You know, well, Swamp is Swamp South, right? So, so outside would be a deal. But everything is fairly lined up for a coordinate count. I would not be surprised to see one of them go for it. If I'm not mistaken, Tristal is just south and west of the castle at this point in time, and so it wouldn't be that far of a stretch for it, I don't think.
Yeah, Tristal about to get the news, just got the news that that's Swamp North and he's on one continent. You could count it. I feel like with Hurtmore, with the Axe Knight, Bobski knows an Axe Knight, Tristal isn't yet. That Axe Knight's going to go down so quickly with Hurtmore that it's probably faster to rescue the princess than to count, but you're right, this does a count that's possible. It's not uncountable. Also, I would be petrified because if I missed by like 1 or 2 squares and just started searching round and round after counting out 144 tiles, oh man, that would be the worst feeling ever. That said, though, this is a 3-in-1 race. Tristal and Bobski both guaranteed to move on to the bracket stages. So if you're going to roll out some swag, this is the time to pull out the swag move. So I would love to see one of them try to count it. But meanwhile, Tristal's got bonus cave. This usually has the stones of sunlight, but on our seed, it has some gold.
Yeah, absolutely. I lost to Game Boy F9 yesterday morning, but that loss was softened quite a bit by the swag at the end of it. I got the legendary Swagmore on the Dragon Lord, so I was pretty happy about it. I felt pretty good about it.
The legendary Swagmore, was that when you put him to sleep and hurt-moored him? I want to see that someday.
No, so I have never actually seen a Hurtmore land on the Dragon Lord. So it was a first time thing for me. And I put the Death Necklace on. I knew that it was going to be close, and then I just rolled abysmally. I want to say that it was like 84 damage or something like that. I rolled like 8 mins in a row. And so it was absolutely terrible luck. And so I just threw a Hurtmore out there, and the Hurtmore was 65 damage. So it was a maximum damage Hurtmore that guaranteed a kill.
Oh, so this was about a necessity. This wasn't like, I have 4,000 extra MP, let's have some fun.
No, that was definitely not the case.
Oh, I thought this was like one of those, like we saw of Rayless the other night. Well, the morning after I saw Rayless, he went to level 30 and he had, I don't know, 1 million MP or something. He was throwing sleeps and Hurtmores and all. I thought it was one of those cases.
Yeah, no. It was a good seed. I definitely enjoyed it. I was thinking about posting it in the seed of Torture or Delight because it was actually a really fun seed. But anyways, we'll go ahead and redirect back to the main event here. Bobski looks like he's taking on Spectres again in the Swamp Cave here. So he is headed back for the grave, I would imagine.
Oh, made a right turn. He's going to make use of his Hurtmore to take out these Axe Knights. He does have the coordinates. He looks like probably going to do a Princess Rescue and check out the coordinates. We have no idea what's on the coordinates, but there's a 2/3 chance it's something we need, either the token or the...
And Ali pointing out that there was no strength on level 10. And so strength is definitely a concern at this point. We're level 10, only 47 strength. That's kind of a bad.
Yeah, it's not great. Bobski's about to go to 10 and get the bad news about 0 power. So this is where Bobski's Death Necklace, and Tristal's about to go check Mountain Cave and also get the Death Necklace too. It's starting to look like it's coming into play. Looking at our level 10 stats, we have 75 HP. That's pretty good for level 10, I feel like, but 47 strength, which is pretty bad. So we have high HP and low strength. Now, we don't know how it's going to look like at the end. We still need 130 HP, or at least high 120s in HP to use the Death Necklace. So we're still a ways off from it, but I'm starting to look at that Death Necklace and think, maybe we might need you after all. Okay, to be fair, Lorgon has it right in chat. All the stats suck. Yeah, I can't really disagree with you, Lorgon. The defense is not bad, mostly thanks to the Silver Shield and Magic Armor, but still.
Yeah, 67 defense at level 10 is pretty good. And for the most part, I gotta agree, the stat gains have been pretty abysmal for about the last 5 levels running.
The good news for our runners, and possibly all of us, we won't be here all afternoon, is that there is this really efficient Axe Knight grind sitting really close to the castle. So you see Bobski as he's rescuing the princess, he's just going to take a little time out to kill a couple more of them. I think he wants level 11, but he's going to need 2 more to get it, so I'm not sure. But so even if our runners have to go to some ridiculously high level, like, I don't know, 18 or 19, it won't take that long with the Axe Knights and Hurtmore. And Tristal going through and finishing his Mountain Cave. Well, he's got 1 more chest to go. He got the Death Necklace, which we know is kind of the only interesting thing in the cave. The only thing on Tristal's side with this Mountain Cave is, does he decide after the Mountain Cave to grab that extra cash out of the treasury and upgrade to the Flame Sword? Again, like I said, minor upgrade, but he might decide to do it.
Unless this red dragon stops him, which is a very realistic possibility.
Ooh, that could, yeah, he might, and it's right in front of that last chest, too. Of course, we know that there's nothing in there, but he doesn't, so he probably will be compelled to take another trip back in if he doesn't get away from this red dragon. That'll cost him not a ton of time, but a little bit of time. And as pointing out in chat, 1 strength on level 11. And looks like only 2 HP, so if we're looking at Death Necklace, that's not great for either one of those things.
Hey, at least, you know, they got something from it. They got 5 agility.
Kind of funny, we were talking about how that agility was looking pretty good early on, and Randomizer must have heard us, because Randomizer said, oh really, huh? There, take 48 agility at level 11. 48 agility at level 11 is not good. Yeah, Tristal looks like he's going back into Mountain Cave to get that last chest. You have to. Of course, he doesn't have the information that we do, that it doesn't have anything, but you have to. I mean, if that's the sword or if that's the harp, or he hasn't seen the second set curse belt, of course, that's the token. You don't want to leave it there. So he has to go back and do it. Like I said, it'll just cost him maybe a minute or two, but that red dragon death was unfortunate.
And Ruler pointing out that agility is just a myth, anyways, and that is definitely accurate. So it's really interesting how the game actually predicts whether or not the player is going to run away from the enemy, because it's not just your agility versus the enemy's agility, and whoever has the higher wins. Of course, they have to throw some amount of RNG into it. But they threw such RNG into it that you have from 0 to 255 numbers that you can draw for your multiplier. And anyways, so with that being said, you can roll a 0, and you can fail to run away from anything that way.
Yeah, we've all been run blocked by the Drakey at 113 agility, right?
Okay, I haven't had one quite that bad, but I did fail to run from a slime with 94.
Might not have been 113, but it was pretty high, and it was a Drakey. So as Lorgon points out in chat, and Ali also, our last quest item, the silver harp, has to be in the grave, right? We've seen all the other treasure chests, and we don't know if it's deep in the grave. It could be in one of the top 3 chests. Our runners are gonna hope so, because yeah, we've seen that there's some deadly enemies in the grave, so getting down to the bottom could be tough. Looks like Tristal's gonna get his flame sword money and pick it up on his way out, which makes sense. So our runners might shift the overworld coordinates. We haven't seen overworld search spots. We saw Bobski rescue the princess, so he might go after those coordinates. We haven't found Hawksness, which has a spike tile in one of those overworld search spots, and we haven't seen Cole. So because the grave is kind of deadly, we've seen Bobski pass on the grave several times because he just feels like it's going to be a quick trip home. As I say that, he might be going for it. They might switch those overworld search spots. We might start seeing that instead of treasure chests.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. I think right now, the best thing that Bobski can do, since he knows essentially what he needs to do, he's going to take some time, get some more stats, so that way that he has a better chance at surviving things like the red dragons that he's seen time and time over, the armor knights, things of that nature.
And yeah, it looks like you're right. I like Lorgon's simple 3-plan strategy in chat. He would shift to an axe grind, and then to an axe grind, and then maybe kill some more axe knights. Looks like Bobski agrees, as he's off to kill some axe.
Yeah, and absolutely with that silver shield and the magic armor, these axe knights aren't going to be dealing a ton of damage. So this is actually a really, really good, very, very efficient grind. He's going to be able to stick it out for quite a while if he decides to stick with it. Oh, hey, a level that actually gave some strength.
And looks like little HP too. So Bobski killed a couple of Axe Knights on the way through to get the level 12, but now he is on the hunt. Oh boy, that is a lot of walking to the east, isn't it? Yeah, you know, my personal strategy, and it's definitely not the best, probably. I always like exploring first and trying to pick up that experience while exploring, because if you can get experience while you're looking for coal, while you're looking for Hawk's Nest, that is the most efficient. You're doing two things, right? You're exploring and you're picking up experience, versus the Axe Knight grind is just one thing. However, Bobski and Tristal have been trying this, and you see on Bobski's side what keeps happening. The red dragons keep popping up and telling them to stop it. So I could definitely see an argument for either way, for doing the Axe Knight grind and getting levels to survive the exploration, or trying to do both at the same time. So Bobski's getting close to those 3 chests. We're going to hope for our runners that the harp is up there and we don't have to go to the bottom.
Hey, there's something besides a mid-tier endgame enemy here.
Unfortunately, Bobski, low on MP, can't throw a hurt more at that Magic Wave, so he's just going to ditch it, and he does find the silver harp up top, so that is good news for our runners. They found everything they need out of treasure chest, except maybe a fighter's ring, but again, that's just +2 attack. Oh yeah, and the sword details, right?
Yeah, I definitely think that the sword is going to be very heavily suggested by the game in this seed. Our current attack power being as low as it is.
Yeah, but I guess the reason why I threw in the sword as an afterthought is because, yes, we need the sword to win the game, but we have Hurt More, so we can kill a lot of stuff with Hurt More. We have an Axe Knight grind really close by, which does not really require the sword. So in a weird way, I mean, we're usually so used to these seeds like, oh, give me the sword, give me the sword, give me the sword. The sword is not really all that urgent right now. Yes, we need it to win the game, but, you know, if I put it off for a little while, I can just Hurt More a bunch of stuff in the interim.
Yeah, and the big thing with the sword versus Hortmore right now is we've gotten a little bit of MP to work with. We're at 55 or 11 Hurtmores right now that we have at our disposal, minus having healed, that kind of thing. So it's pretty good, but it's not fantastic. So the sword would be a nice commodity right now, and I think that Tristal agrees as he is diving deeper into the grave to attempt to find the sword.
Yeah, it's not urgent, but at the same time, if you're right there in the grave, why not try for it, right? You don't want to make a return trip to the grave. If he dives here, the bottom of the grave, and he gets the sword out of here, great. Like, let's get out of here. Let's never speak of this dungeon ever again. Also, having the information that the sword's not here can be really helpful, because then you can plan things. Okay, there's the sword. Never mind about planning things. We got the sword. We're done with boxes. Tristal can get out of this grave and never, ever look at it ever again.
And Bobski's going to have to re-dive into the grave and try to get down to that chest there. So that's something that he's going to need to do later on.
See, the problem is that the information that Tristal got, which is really helpful. Well, of course, he got the sword too. Bobski doesn't know, of course, where the sword is. The sword could be in Sharlock. And so from Bobski's perspective, you've got 7 chances in Sharlock, and you've got 2 chances in Grave. So if he gambles sword in Sharlock, it's not going to come up good.
Yeah, it's going to be a very large time loss. Meanwhile, Bobski has found Hawk's Nest taking on this armored knight here without too much difficulty. And I think we're going to see what's on the trap tile here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Bobski's got a good chance of killing whatever's on this spike tile. He has Hurt More, of course, and you've got 2 enemies which can be Hurt More. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a stop spell in case it's a golem sitting on there. That would be not good. But he does have the sleep spell, so if it's a stone man, we can make progress there. So there's a lot of enemies that Bobski can do some serious damage to. Tristal going to check the bottom treasure chest, maybe thinking token, but we have seen 2 curse belts, maybe thinking a fighter's ring could be there too, and instead he gets more wing.
So I believe that Tristal had to have seen the Cursed Belt because he's gotten all 5 chests in the Mountain Cave, and he also picked up the 3 in the back of Garenham. It's possible that he might have forgotten as well.
Yeah, I think, that red dragon did give him trouble getting to that last treasure chest. Yeah, it might have just slipped his mind. That said, the 5th chest is not very far away from the 4th chest. So that's not really a big deal. Meanwhile, the Stone Man is kind of a big deal. Bobski put him to sleep, landing a Hurtmore. Hurtmore only 50-50, but he got that first Hurtmore off. And I imagine he'll try for another one. No, he's just going to fight and finish him off.
Yeah, you're going to be dealing decent damage at 72 attack power to a Stone Man. They only have, 20 defense or something like that. So we're going to be dealing okay damage to him, I think.
Yeah, Bobski was preferring to hang on to that extra MP to cast Sleep, and it works. He gets the Stoneman down and finds his armor, so that's going to be a nice boost. Funny thing is, we keep calling the armor the best armor in all of RPG land. It's only going to give 4 extra defense power over the magic armor, so it seems kind of silly. But it has a host of other benefits, like the probably most uninteresting one is it does things like it nullifies stop spell. Okay. It'll also give you that hurt and hurt more resistance, and it'll reduce DL1 and DL2 breath. Probably most notably, it lets you walk over swamp tiles like that, take no damage from those. Oh, and by the way, if that wasn't enough, every step you take restores 1 HP. So only 4 extra defense power, but a ton of other benefits for Bobski with that armor.
Yeah, it is one of the most abusive or easily abused pieces of equipment that I've ever seen in an RPG. I mean, a lot of people talk about the adamant armor from Final Fantasy IV, but I still think Erdrick's armor has the cake on it.
It just amuses me because when you hear best RPG ever or best armor in RPG ever, you're thinking oh, it's got I don't know, 3,000 defense or something, and no, it doesn't. The defense isn't even the big thing about it. It just lets you break everything else in the game almost. But Bobski oh man, we've got a lot of walking to do, don't we, to get those coordinates.
Yeah, we have a long ways to go. It's on the complete opposite side of the world.
One thing I do like about going after the coordinates is you can kind of hope, it's a long walk there, you can kind of hope the coordinates might take you in the same direction as coal. That's where our last 2 items we really need are, well, a token is the last item. That's where our last 2 search spots are. Coal in the overworld, we don't know which one has the token, but if you go looking for the coordinates, maybe you'll stumble across coal and get them both.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. And with how much of this map these runners have already seen, I'd say that there's a pretty good possibility that it's going to be the case. It doesn't look like it's going to be too terrible to make it to the coordinate area. A little bit windy, but not too terrible overall. Tristal, meanwhile, is going to get the information finally that there is an Axe Knight on a grind tile. So we'll probably be seeing him pick up his grind here before too long.
Yeah, you look at the experience and it looks like, oh wow, Bob's got 1,000-point experience gap, and he checks the spark over tile, nice. And he checks the coordinates of the spark over tile. Actually, I mean, relatively close, I guess. But yeah, Tristal's going to see these Axe Knights. He's going to burn a couple Hurtmores here, I bet, and he's going to pick up a bunch of experience really quickly. He gets 12 right away.
Yeah, absolutely. Picking up level 12 here is pretty important. But with how many things are left to find on the overworld searches and things of that nature, I wouldn't be surprised to see him just grind away until he's just about out of resources, and then go ahead and take the princess back to the castle and start heading out in search for that Erdrick's token. Just so that way that he can even out the exploration here, because you're still going to be able to grind while you explore. There's a lot of enemy zones that have magic wyverns. We're seeing green dragons. We've seen some other enemies that are susceptible to hurt more that are still worth decent experience. So I think that would be a better play right now, because you're trying to knock out multiple things at once.
Yeah, do something like Bobski did, where you just burn through whatever MP you have and then be on your way with the princess. But already you can see here Tristal closing that experience gap already half. He's already within 500 just from hurtmoring a few of these Axe Knights. So that experience gap pretty much entirely because Bobski did what Tristal did here, just maybe 5 or 10 minutes ago. But yeah, Tristal, I agree with you entirely. Tristal's probably just going to grab the princess and head on his way to the coordinates.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I'm not mistaken, Tristal has not seen Hawksness yet, and it looked like it was kind of tucked off to the side, kind of in a corner, if you would be. So I think that Hawksness is going to be the key factor that separates the race for these two runners.
Maybe. I wonder if I wasn't watching Bobski as he walked to Hawksness, but I wonder if I know Bobski's been on the hunt for coordinates for a while. I wonder if he was trying to walk to the south and east, and that kind of led him to that dead end that was over by Hawksness. And if that's the case, Tristal might be led there by the coordinates, maybe. Or Tristal might walk a different way to try to get to the coordinates and not walk there, and it might become an issue for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always interesting to see how different runners adapt to what the randomizer gives them. Everybody has a different way of looking at the randomizer and a difference of opinions on what should be done. And it's always interesting to come and do these commentaries and watch these races, because I've learned a lot more from sitting here watching and talking than I have from actually playing the game.
Yeah, when you go for the coordinates, the map layout is really important. I did a practice seed a couple days ago where the coordinates were not this bad, but it was south and east, south and west, I think. And if you tried to count it going south first and then west, you had a terrible, winding, awful path. But if you tried to count it going west and south, it was the easiest thing ever. So depending on how these runners' mental map is, depending on how their layout of the land is, and which way they decide to go, could make it really easy or really hard to get these coordinates. But from Bobski's screen, it looks like you have to take a really strange path across a bunch of weird bridges and rivers to get to this thing.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm not 100% sure exactly where he's headed. He may be checking for the coordinates, but he might also be looking for coal. This leads back over by Sharlock, which we've seen parts of this area already.
Yeah, I think what I've been seeing on Bobski's side is he's been running into some dead ends. Like, I think he's trying to walk south and east, and the land just stops. Like, he's hit some dead ends and used Gwaelin's Love, and it tells him he's nowhere close. So this might be one of those weird cases where you have to walk up north and east and over by Sharlock and then back down and around, and could be annoying getting there even if you have the princess.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be a rather difficult time.
Tristal taking the princess for a little shopping spree and then throwing up his wings to take her back. So Tristal will be on the hunt with the princess for the coordinates. And I don't know, we'll see. I'm not sure if just maybe it's Bobski's mental map giving him trouble, or if it's just a really, really nasty trek to the coordinates. Well, any trek that takes you past this red dragon is going to be a nasty trek.
Yeah, absolutely. But at least they have enough attack power now to where they can kind of deal with it and kind of survive it.
Yeah, it's not as deadly as it was before, and I guess Bobski had a town nearby too, so he can go refill. You just don't want to use all these resources in the middle of your super long 144-step walk, but hopefully he'll dispatch this red dragon, and does on his last attack, and he'll go find somewhere to heal up.
Yeah, that's very nice. Also, I did not see that this was Remolder, so I'm glad that he had to stop at this town, because now I know where Remolder is. So if I'm not mistaken, he had hid south from here. He was actually headed to the east a little bit, and I believe it's southwest of this desert here that Hawksness was, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay. If it's southwest of there, then that's not really anywhere near the coordinates then, huh?
Yeah, I think it's right over in that little single patch of desert tile there.
The single patch of desert tile apparently guarded by every red dragon in the world.
Yes, absolutely. Because the game goes, why not?
So you want an armor, do you? Ooh, there's a town I don't think we've seen, tucked right on the coast there, and a cave which we haven't seen yet. Does that have to be Rainbow Drop Cave that Bobski's coming across?
I think so. I think we've seen everything else.
Oh look, it's a red dragon.
However, the town, it's either going to be Breckenary or Cole. It's got to be one of those two.
Well, Breckenary would never be on prime real estate like that, so it is Cole. We're going to get a search spot check, and this might free Bobski from the coordinates if this is the...
I just want you to realize how lucky you were that it turned out to be Cole. Because you said Breckenary would never be there. That was kind of half hoping that it would be Breckenary.
50-50 every time. This could work out really well for Bobski. He's picked up his token. He's got all 3 items necessary to assemble the Rainbow Drop. And I believe this has to be the Rainbow Drop Cave, so he's about to finish a whole bunch of homework right now. He's going to have his Rainbow Drop, he's going to have access into Sharlock, and he just needs the sword now, and he'll be in Grind and Go.
Well, technically, in his head, he's in Grind and Go mode. He probably thinks that the best play for him right now is to go and grind up the levels he needs on Axe Knights, hence the reason that he's trying to force the Red Dragon here. And then after that, he's going to go ahead and he'll try to dive Sharlock for the sword. At least that's the play that I make in his position, because he hasn't seen that Erdrick's sword was in the bottom of the grave, and he's already passed up.
Ooh, he's going to go grab the Fairy Flute while he's here, though. So that's actually kind of good news for Tristal, that the coordinates will take him right by Cole and right by the Rainbow Drop Cave, so he'll be able to do the same thing. Bobski blowing the Fairy Flute for the Demon Knight definitely tried to death warp.
Or he could just put you to sleep and, he can chip you away.
In typical randomizer fashion, when you want to death warp, you do not find a red dragon. There it is, finally for him. So look at his death warp here. Tristal has found Cole. He's going to get his token. He's going to get his Rainbow Drop. He did not take that little western path you mentioned about Hawksness, though. So he still needs to find that. Going to be kind of an interesting little finish here because Tristal short the armor, Bobski short the sword. You don't really need either one for the grind, but you definitely need both of them for the dive.
Well, it's definitely going to be dependent upon what we see for stats later on. We are nowhere near ready for the end of the game. I'm predicting probably level 17, level 18 at this point with the stats that we're seeing. And I think that that's probably going to be a realistic opportunity there. But who knows? We might get a ton of HP or a ton of strength between now and then the sword essentially becomes irrelevant.
Level 18. I'm going to tell him you said that. You know what? I think level 14 is going to give them like 50 strength. We're going to be gone out of here in like 15 minutes. Yeah, that's what I...
Alright, so whether I'm here or not, if they go to 18, you are not allowed to tell them that I said that they would be done at level 14.
I mean, I don't think we're going to get 50 power on level 14 either, but we can hope.
Absolutely, absolutely. And once again, right here, we have the Rainbow Drop on both sides, and Tristal is missing one piece of exploration, and is a little bit behind on experience. So Bobski has done a very, very nice job keeping things on a level playing field here. He's keeping his experience lead, which is important at this point in the game, but he is missing the sword, so it's going to be interesting to see how he handles it and whether or not he's able to make enough of a gap to make up for the fact that he's going to have to go back to the grave in order to grab the sword.
Yeah, we see Lorgon mentioned it in chat. I think a couple other people did too. That was a nice play for Bobski to pick up the flute anyway because it was right down here anyhow. Tristal doing the same thing, decides to go pick up the flute. funny thing is, I don't think this is going to come down to experience. This is going to come down to if Tristal finds the Hawksness before Bobski goes back to the grave. And unfortunately, I think I kind of agree with people in chat. If you had to gamble on a place for the sword to be, I mean, you have a 7/9 chance of it being in Sharlock. So unfortunately for Bobski, I think he's headed for a sword dive that is not going to pay off. And I don't know if it's going to take Tristal that long to find Hawksness.
Well, you were very, very well known on your streams to talk about it's 50-50 every time. Well, this is a case of it's 78% all the time.
If Randomizer says there's a non-zero probability, Randomizer will do it. Heck, if Randomizer says there's a 0% chance, it'll sometimes do it.
I'm pretty sure that even if there is no statistical probability that backs up it happening, it'll happen. It just does. Like having excellent moves dodged by a Demonite 3 times in a row. The odds of that are pretty ridiculous.
Wait, did that happen to you?
No, actually, that happened to Mr. Holmes a couple of months ago. He ran into a Demonite. He was running a Chaos Seed, I think, and it was the Demonite. He excellent move dodge, excellent move dodge, excellent move dodge, and then the Demonite breathed 25% DL2 breath on him and killed him.
That is either the best argument I've ever heard for RNG loops or the best argument that Mr. Holmes should go buy every lottery ticket he can get his hands.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I've seen plenty of good things. You know, having no heal spell until 16. What are the odds in that? Game Boy F9 had actually crunched the numbers one day, and I don't remember exactly what the number was, but it was like 1 in 4190 or something like that. So, I mean, there's been plenty of times where the randomizer has just kind of stuck its middle finger up at these runners.
Speaking of the randomizer sticking its middle finger up at these runners, we are at, with Bobski's big MP gain, it was a big MP gain, we are at 72 MP. At 72 MP, we'd need to have somewhere in the high 130s for attack power. Tristal is currently sitting at 96 attack power, so we're off and grinding. Meanwhile, look at this. Bobski is checking the grave, so he's going to dodge a big bullet here. If he had gambled Sharlock, it would have come up very, very bad, but he's going to have his sword in short order here. Tristal also looking like he's heading the general direction of Hawksness. They might get their sword and armor at almost the exact same time, incredibly enough.
Yeah, this is going a lot better than I thought that it was going to be. This race just became extremely close, with only 800 experience separating these two runners, and both of them finding the last little bit of their exploration at relatively the same time. This is going to be a very, very close finish.
You know, I just mentioned the 7 out of 9 thing and all that. I kind of like Bobski's play here to check the grave. The grave check doesn't take terribly long. He was already in swamp. It cost him a few minutes, whereas a failed Sharlock dive would have cost a ton of time. So I like his play here. He knows he gets some experience from Magic Wyverns and apparently Red Dragons too. It's going to pay off for him. Tristal finds the town that should not be named. We'll just not mention that. But yeah, I could have seen a situation where Bobski dives grave hoping for the sword and misses, and Tristal wanders the map forever looking for Hawksness. But not with these two. These two solid runners are going to have their sword and armor in very short order here and be off and running with this Axe Knight grind.
Oh no, I was actually mistaken. Hawksness is not over there. So I lost some spatial reasoning there.
Was that Breckenary masquerading as Hawksness? You've gone too far this time, Breckenary.
Indeed it has.
Tempting our poor runners into thinking you have an armor for them. Tristal has seen, of course, the 2 search spots. Well, that's right, he hadn't seen the armor. He had to go check the spot because he didn't know if it was a flute or armor. But now he knows that he's looking for Hawksness now for the armor. And Bobski approaching that chest, he can see it, and he's gonna have his. Oh, thank goodness, he's a wizard. So he's gonna have his sword. So now Bobski in full grind and go mode, and he's going to be able to go refresh his resource. He's going to go find a red dragon in here and get his death warp going, and he's going to be on the armored knight hunt. Axe knight hunt.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he's probably going to grind up until the point where he sees the level that he needs. Axe Knights are just such an efficient grind, but there is a possibility that he'll only grind part of the way to another level.
Yeah, this presents kind of an interesting decision when you get onto those, if you get to a borderline level. On the one hand, the Axe Knight, they'll hand you levels really fast. Hurtmoring Axe Knights, it takes maybe 5 or 6 minutes, even at the higher levels, to go up. But Sharlock's not that far away, so you could say let's fight our way down, and if it goes south, whatever. We're close to home, it's not a big deal. So interesting to see how they handle it.
So yes, the Axe Knight is in Swamp Cave on the Spiked Island Swamp, and it is about 30 paces east of the castle and about 4 paces north.
Yeah, and Hawksness, which Tristal is looking for right now, does have the armor in it, has a Stone Man. I don't think the Stone Man had any too terrible abilities. Maybe it had a hurt spell or something like that, but definitely not as good a grind as the Axe Knight. And plus, Hawksness, as you can see with Tristal side, is out in the middle of nowhere. So location for Swamp Cave, much better. Axe Knight grind, definitely the way they're going to want to go. And as Bobski starts hurt more on those Axe Knights, he's going to be looking for 7,500 to get to level 15. Maybe he could pick up a Metal Slime on the way. Why not? But that should just be a few Axe Knights away till we see what 15 has.
And the really nice thing about these Axe Knights is that they have the hurt spell. So these Axe Knights are not dangerous at all.
Yeah, so most of the time when you cast Hurt More, I forgot the percentage, it's something like 80% or something, right? You're going to one-shot them. But on the off chance you don't one-shot them, they're going to maybe bust out their heal spell, no big deal, it's not going to heal enough to save them. Or they're going to bust out a hurt spell, which will do 2 to 6 damage to you or whatever. So you're not even going to have to be using those heal mores very often.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a very MP-friendly grind. And even if you fail a Hurt More on these Axe Knights and they do cast the heal spell, you just throw down another Hurt More.
So Bobski definitely has an advantage here. He's about to pick up 15 with 15 power. Look at that. Not quite the 50, but hey, pretty good.
Alright, so this one really was my bad. I was pointing out that the agility was actually semi-decent at the lower levels, and now agility is a problem, so sorry guys, that's my bad.
Oh, it's okay. We've got plenty of time to work on that agility because our attack power, even though we gained 15 attack power right there, if we're talking about diving, like I said, we still need somewhere in the high 130s for attack power because our MP didn't get all that much better. So, I mean, we're still a good 20 power away from going, so we have plenty of time to work on that agility. But yeah, Bobski with the dedicated grind. Tristal still needing to find Hawksness. That did turn out to be much more difficult to find than we were anticipating. We thought maybe it was on the way to the coordinates, but it doesn't look like it is. So, Tristal, is this Hawksness? This has to be Hawksness, right? Okay, he's in Hawksness. Yes. He's got the arm. He's going to be able to get to this Axe Knight grind, and he'll probably be honestly, about one dive behind. So we don't know what Sharlock has. We've seen some of the Sharlock enemies troll our runners so far. He's probably going to end up about one dive behind. Bobski, if Bobski fails a dive, we could see synchro dives.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of luck on Tristal's side to catch up at this point. Bobski has a pretty tremendous lead over him right now. So I think that this is unfortunately Bobski's race to lose, as Tristal has put on a very, very good race with a lot of heads-up plays. Just happened to find things just a little bit different order that led to a little bit different timing, and unfortunately it's going to cost him.
Did someone say Trisluck? I don't know what that meant before, but I know what it could mean today. As Bobski keeps hurt-mooring these Axe Knights, he's going to have to take a Death Orb here to refresh, but it's, again, not very far to get back there. His next target, 9750. So he's going to need about 10 more Axe Knights, which he should be able to get on this next trip. Maybe 9.
You're looking at 8 Axe Knights for the next level.
I was looking ahead to level 17. We're going to need... I think chat would agree. We're going to need... Oh, for the next level, yeah, we're going to need a lot more than 8 Axe Knights to finish this grind, I bet, though. But yeah, okay. I'm bad at divide.
And man, Bobski's been seeing a lot of metal slimes in this cave. They seem to be popping up pretty often. But unfortunately, they just kind of nope away from him, or they sit there and breathe baby breath on him and waste a lot of time.
Yeah, the interesting part here is, you know, usually we're so used to saying, ooh, metal slime, let's kill it, yeah, let's get our experience. In this case, you don't want to see a metal slime, really, because like you said, they're just going to take more time. You know, you throw a couple Hurtmores out, you kill 2 Axe Knights, that's already 260 experience, and I guarantee you can Hurtmore 2 Axe Knights a lot faster than you can kill a metal slime, unless you pull an excellent move or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Or unless you attack power is not an issue for you, which in this seed, it is.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to start talking about one-shotting metal slimes in this particular seed, but you're right, if you could one-shot them, that would be a different story. So Tristal doing a little bit of shopping, just refilling on his herbs and torches, getting everything in order before he heads to the Axe Knight grind. The Axe Knight grind close to the castle, Sharlock relatively close to the castle, so we're done exploring, we're done with long treks. We just have to kill a whole bunch of Axe Knights and then dive a Sharlock. So
just after we diss the metal slimes in the mountain cave, Bobski ran into one and immediately Kaishined a metal slime right after we were finished talking about it. So, once again, commentator's curse.
Curse? That's a blessing. I demand 10% of Bobski's experience for that. You should get some too, Mused.
Oh no, we're jacking up the royalties after that one.
It's fine. I'll just take 10% and go up to level 3. I'm a level 3 commentator now.
Alright, well that's fine, because I can settle with being level 2, that's okay.
By the time Bobski's done with his Axe Knight grind, he's going to have plenty of experience to share with all of us. If he has to go up to level 18, we're looking at 14,250, so he'll have enough to spare for us. 13 experience to me. What? No. I want 10%. I'm not going to settle for some little 5% or no, 10%. Or am I getting royalties? Am I getting 13 experience on every one of these?
13 experience is 10% of an Axe Knight's experience gain.
What? No. I'm taking that metal slime credit. Are you kidding? That was commentator's blessing. I'm taking 10% of 255.
Okay, so you get 25 experience.
Yeah, level 3. What? Now chat's taxing my experience? What's going on here? Alright, Tristal is picked up level 14. Tristal's in grind and go too. He's going to love to see that 15 extra power. You know, it's not enough to go, but now it's... I guess it was enough before. If you hurt more, you just attack to finish him off, but...
Yeah, absolutely, and we've seen some good things happen here with agility as well. a big gain of 11 agility on level 16 brings our defense points into the green. Our agility is in the green, HP is in the green. MP is still low, and so is strength.
Yeah, so the agility is getting better. 73 is tolerable. Again, we've got levels to go, so we can work on that. Defense power of 86 means that we're starting to defense break a lot of stuff in Sharlock, a lot of the lower enemies. The Wizard, the Starwover, and the Werewolf, all defense broken. Green Dragon getting close to it. When you defense break, when your defense power is equal to or higher than the strength of an enemy, a different damage formula is used, and the damage is drastically reduced. So even if you run fail from, say, like a Star Wyvern, it's going to attack you for drastically less damage. You're not quite as worried about it. We have more levels to go. We're only at 119 attack power. That's not going to cut it. We need mid 130s. So we're going to work on that agility a little bit, but it's becoming less of an issue.
The Dragon Lord fight, if we're able to make it to the bottom floor of Sharlock with all of our resources, 130 would theoretically be enough. Mid 130s would make the fight much safer, just because you're increasing your average. But 130 would definitely be doable with 10 heal mores, as you would need somewhere in the realm of 12 to 13 attacks on average.
Yeah, it'd be doable. These numbers that definitely are not on this chart that's not right in front of me are recommending you have somewhere in the like high 130s in attack power if you have 80 if you have 10 heal mores. But if you have high defense and you're planning on like an opening double and that sort of stuff, it might be doable. But yeah, we're still even 11 attack power away from the might be doable stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are headed to 12,000 experience. Bobski well on his way here. And Tristal deciding to use the in Cantlin to restore his resources in the middle of the grind. So that's an interesting choice. I wonder how big of a difference that's going to make, if any at all.
Maybe, I'm not sure. I think it's a little longer, but not too much. Cantlin is closer to the cave than the castle is, but of course, if you Death Warp, you only have to make the one-way trip from the castle versus out and back to Cantlin. I don't know. It's probably like 10 or 15 steps. It's probably negligible.
It is probably negligible. What I was thinking would be outside, them return back to the castle, grab Cantlin on the way back to the cave, which is probably roughly about the same number of steps.
Oh, the one way that way. I mean, that would probably work too. I think there are lots of ways. Swamp Cave being so close, I think there are lots of ways to get back there, and they're all probably roughly the same.
Yeah, I would imagine so. The biggest thing about grinding in this game is that it's all about menu control. If you're able to control your menus well, you're an efficient grinder. Whereas if you make a lot of missed menus and things of that nature, your grind is going to be significantly slower. But we see that both Tristal and Bobski are very, very efficient at their menuing. We haven't seen any missed menus, and we see Axe Knights just falling left and right.
Wait, I'm not supposed to cast Repel in the middle of a fight?
Or Radiant.
I want to light them up. They told me to light them up.
You're supposed to use the big fireball for that.
Bobski picks up level 17 with some power, some HP. We still are not in the range we need to be. No more heal mores. We're still on 84 MP. Not enough HP to use the Death Necklace. A little more agility. We're defense breaking greens now, so that's exciting. But we're going to 18 at least 18 at 14 to 50. Good news is you've been seeing with these Axe Knights, it doesn't take very long to accumulate about 2,000 experience or so. Bobski made it from 16 to 17 in very little time at all, and the gap is the same up to 18. So it will be just a few minutes to get up to 18.
Yeah, and the really nice thing about their current attack power is that their attack power is high enough to where they can potentially two-shot in Axe Knight. So even though Bobski is doing it a little bit slower now by not being able to refill his resources as quickly, he still is taking these Axe Knights down very, very quickly, and he is racking up the experience at very, very little HP loss. So he might be able to finish out the level if he gets lucky enough here.
Yeah, Bobski running out of MP for the Hurtmores is perfect, because I think he was probably just fighting these and saying, like, I'm just going to fight them until they kill me and run away and then Death Warp and come back. I think he's starting to realize they can't kill him. They cast Hurt a lot. He 2-shots them, maybe 3-shots them if he rolls really badly. And he can sit here and kill a lot of Axe Knights by just attacking. So it's going to be much more efficient without the Hurtmore now, actually. Yeah, since he ran out of Hurtmores, I think Bobski's killed 3 of these things, and that's his first heal that he's used. So this is going to drastically reduce the number of refills needed and drastically reduce the running back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be super nice for them to see that. But the big thing here is that he is well on the way to that 14,200. So what do you do here? Do you come back and finish off the level, or do you pray and hope that 18's enough and start diving Sharlock and fight your way down with a little bit less than 1,000 to go?
I mean, honestly, looking at this, I'm seeing, again, on this chart that's totally not in front of me, that I'm totally not reading off of, you're looking at high 130s, maybe mid 130s to pull it off. Am I really thinking I'm going to get another 12 power gain? Maybe. If I get big MP, I can't use that on the way down, so I'm stuck with 10 heal mores. Axe Knight's so fast, I think I'm going back there and finishing it there.
Yeah, that's definitely a fair point. Bobski picking up torches, so he might be disagreeing with you here. Maybe.
I mean, let's see where he's going. Oh, he's going back. I was going to say, like, you can make a case for diving, right? You can make a case and say, like, I'm going to dive down. I'm defense breaking the bottom for the Wizard, Star Wyvern, Werewolf, Green Dragon. I'm going to check the, maybe grind a little on the Sharlock Spike tile if things go south. Take a shot at the Dragon Lord, maybe get lucky with good rolls. It's definitely, I can see an argument being for it, but I do think I agree with Bobski. Just finish off the level. It's not going to take very long.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a very, very efficient grind. And I think that even if we have to go all the way to level 19, level 20, it's not going to take too terribly long. I mean, 3,000 experience with Axe Knights, that's not too bad of them. You're looking at about 26 of them for 3,000 experience. And with how quickly they drop, you're looking at 3-4 minutes, depending upon how efficient it is and how much MP you have.
Yeah, Bobski taking the MP out of the equation. You can see after his last attempt to Death Warp, he's realized that these Axe Knights are pretty harmless. They don't deal damage to him, so he's going to just, as I say that, he hurt more some. He attacked the first one. Anyway, yeah, he's going to be able to take out a bunch of these and get his levels shortly. The thing that, for Bobski, that might cause him to pick up a level on the way down, we can see both screens. Obviously, Bobski can't. You're sitting at about a minute 22 or so, going against Tristal, who you know is a crazy good runner. You might start thinking you got to get on with it, and you might start thinking about trying to cut a little corner here or there and say, let's just pick it up on the way down. I'm sure it'll work out fine. It might work out fine, but that's the only thing I can see that would move Bobski off this tile. Okay, so here comes 17, and we get... No. Oh, wait, never mind. 36 HP dropping in from nowhere, and suddenly we're Death Necklace eligible, and we're good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. This fight is super safe. It gave us another heal more. It gave us that attack power that puts us into the mid 130s with the Death Necklace. It is go time.
Now, I believe, since I was saying no at the beginning of that level, and the level Randomizer spited me and dropped 36 HP on Bobski, I'm pretty sure he owes me 10% of that, right? So I just gained 3.6 HP with my new level. I'm pretty sure that's accurate.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's accurate. But here's the downside of it: you only gain 2 MP. You gain no agility, so you have fun. You have fun with that.
So you're saying I'm slow, have no strength, and have very low health? Yeah, okay, we didn't know that before. All right, well, yeah. Oh, chat's taxing my HP. Come on. Oh, you guys are brutal. Now, what Bobski will be penalized for, in all seriousness, when he puts the Death Necklace on, he will lose 25% of that HP, but he's well over the 130 threshold. He'll be safe from 2 Dragon Lord Fire Breaths. The Dragon Lord's going to be able to attack him for, I believe, only 47, if I can count correctly. And he's also going to have 150 attack points on his dive down. So even if he fails to run, he's almost a coin flip to run from even those jerk red dragons and armored knights. Even if he fails to run, he can take a couple hits before he has to get super worried about anything, all the way up at 150 HP. So he is in very good shape here. 18, looking like a great level.
Yeah, absolutely. And defense power being 91, those red dragons and the armored knights, they're not going to be hitting for anywhere near as hard as we were seeing much earlier in the seed. Now, there's still no pushover by any stretch of the imagination, but it might be a worthwhile play to just beat through them, because you're not going to be seeing too many numbers over the 30 mark with the armored knight. And you're not going to see anything above 40 with red dragons and golems. So it might be worthwhile just to beat through them, depending upon how your run luck goes.
Yeah, I see armored knights and red dragons in this top zone, which at first glance looks like it might be terrible, but if they're going to be there, I like to see them in a top zone. You can really push your luck trying to run from them because, if they snipe you, you try to save a heal more and they snipe you or whatever, it's not that far from the castle. It's not that far to get back. It's much better than seeing them in the bottom zones, I feel like. So Bobski running into a few of them, taking a few hits here, but looks like he got away from that one. He's doing okay. Remember, he's going to gain 1 HP for every step he takes, so he can heal walk a lot of these hits back.
So he had some amazing run luck with these armored knights and the red dragons, and then gets back attacked by an axe knight. So there's some more run RNG for you.
Well, if you're going to get back attacked by something, I guess that's the one to pick.
I think at this point he would probably prefer Green Dragon or Star Wyvern or something like that, so that way he's breaking it.
Glancing over at the left side, by the way, Tristal, of course, using those hurt mores, picking up his experience. Once he gets to that 1425 mark and sees level 18, he's going to be off and flying too. So once again, if something does go wrong for Bobski, we're going to see synchronized dives here. So it does look like Tristal's going to be about 1 dive behind, which is not that far behind, maybe 6 or 7 minutes only.
Yeah, and that's very, very interesting. Unfortunately, the time has come for me. I have to go and set up for a restream that I'm going to be doing for up to NG versus Melee Wizard that will be airing in just a little bit under a half an hour. So I will be peacing out for now. I'm going to leave you guys in good hands with Ryguy. Thank you so much to Cyberdark and Ali Gerbrap, as well as my co-commentator Ryguy. And I hope to see you guys over there with that match between Melee Wizard and up to NG. Thanks for joining me, and we'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks, Amused. I promise I won't tell the runners about all the stats you tried to steal from them. It's fine. Have a good race. Yeah, we'll definitely check that out. That sounds like a really good race. Perfect timing, too. We should be wrapping up here right as that one's... Question in chat from Pantheros: is Bobsy gonna hunt for the ring? Yeah, like Lorgon said, he doesn't really need to. He could. I mean, it is gonna be in Sharlock somewhere, but he's gonna put on that Death Necklace, go up to 136 attack power, and he should be set there. He should have an extra heal more, and with that high defense, he should be okay. So he probably doesn't want to waste the extra 45 seconds or so it would take to look for it, because again, we can see both screens, but he doesn't know where Tristal is, and he could be thinking that Tristal is right behind him or maybe right ahead of him. So he's not gonna use the extra time. So as Tristal finishes up his grinding, Bobski is about to be called a fool. Sitting at 113 HP with 91 defense power, he has an outside chance for some doubles even. But if he gets that opening double, he wouldn't even need it. But with the high attack power, he sees a couple low physicals from Dragonlord. Outside chance, but that would just be a luxury at this point as he goes into DL1. Oh, thank you, Lorgon. Bobski doesn't know it could be at the very, very bottom of the grave. That's a good point, too, yeah. Right, we see Bobski using those herbs there, trying to maximize the HP he takes into Dragonlord 2, hoping for that opening double. And Dragonlord 1 not obliging. 2 more herbs, though. There it is. So Bobski will take 113 HP into Dragonlord 2. Oh, not quite finishing him, but getting a second stop spell. This also guards against the back attack. If Bobski gets back attacked, he still gets his 1 opening attack. But he doesn't, so he's going to open with a double, and he's going to have an extra heal more, and I think this is probably going to go okay. Right. So Pantheros in chat has our counts going here. 50 damage already, I guess. Probably an attack or 2 gone. But Bobski well on his way. Still has 8 more heal mores left. Yeah, this should be no problem as Tristal's just about to get to 18, so he'll be starting his dive in just a few experience. I imagine he'll just go into Sharlock and just wrap it up there. Lorgon saying in chat that herbs are a waste there. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. That said, I tend to use the herbs there anyway. Yeah, guarding against that back attack or something like that. But not sure he needed to use them. On the flip side, not sure it takes up tons of time. Seems like one of those negligible things again, but yeah. Alrighty, so as Bobski wraps this up, Tristal back in to wrap up his level 8 as well. Dragonlord putting up a little bit of a fight. Maybe has a little more higher HP than normal, but any minute now, Bobski should be wrapping up. Especially that opening double. I feel like he should have been done by now, but I haven't been counting. There you go. He gets it done with an extra heal more. And get your GGs out for Bobski. He's going to go to 4-1 and advance. Well, both are advancing the bracket stage, but Bobski's going to go up to 4-1. We see the Dragonlord stats up there. Not terribly high HP, so not the best rolls for Bobski, but did not matter. He had plenty of resources to put up with that. And he's going to be your winner here today. So GG's to Bobski, had a really good race, really good exploration, really good on him to go check for the grave especially. I think checking for that saved him, of course, tons of time, avoided a potential terrible time loss gambling on Sharlock. Checked the grave, did his due diligence, got rewarded with the sword, got rewarded with the race win. So we'll see if we can get him in here. Looks like Tristal has seen it. We'll see if Tristal goes and does his dive or not. Admittedly, I'm sure Tristal looks at it and knows it'd be a pretty okay dive. So we'll see if he just goes through and dives it. And we'll see if we can get Bobski and Tristal in here for a little post. So Bobski wrapping up that seed with a very solid time, 132.33. Very nice time, especially with that map. We saw Bobski had some trouble with the coordinates. They were kind of tough to find. They're kind of tough to go through. And yeah, it looks like Tristal's gonna nope out of that. It would have been a pretty straightforward dive, I think. So he's just gonna nope out of it, and we'll see if we can get them both in here for a little chat. GG's to both. You know, like I said, if things had gone Tristal's way, if he had found Hoxus maybe a little faster, wouldn't have wouldn't have been a problem. And there we go. We have Tristal in here. GG's Tristal. Nice run. Unfortunate result, but still a good run.
Yeah, it was all right. Like you were just saying, the not finding Hawksness until super late probably cost me the entire race. But that's the way it goes. Sometimes the map loves you, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, towards the end there, you were looking for Hawksness, and Bobski was looking for the sword, and so we thought that was going to be a really... And it just turned out Bobski dove the grave first and found the sword before you were able to find Hawksness in the armor. Up to that point, it was extremely tight.
Yeah, I was pretty happy about finding the sword where I did, because I thought that could be a factor too. But yeah, just there's a lot of medium things that I was doing the entire run. I had some points where I was doing some exploring, but I didn't have MP, and I struggled to get to level 8, which is exactly where the Hurtmore breakpoint was. So that, if I had gotten to level 8 a little quicker, that could have pushed me ahead a couple more minutes too. Just so, like, really just mediocre kind of the whole way, other than a few bright points.
Yeah, and we have joining us here Bobski. GG's to you, Bobski. Congrats on the win, and very nice.
Thank you. I felt like everything was turning up my way for once.
Everything's coming up, Bobski. I was talking to Tristal. What it came down to at the end was Tristal was looking for the armor while you were looking for the sword, and we were afraid in chat and in the booth here that you might dive Sharlock, gambling the sword was there, but
yeah, I was actually afraid that the sword was going to be there, but I wanted to verify because I thought that might be a way to get ahead. If most people will skip the bottom of grave if they don't get there the first time, so I thought that maybe that was a way to gain a few minutes by just knocking that out. Since I knew I was going to make it to the bottom, I could cut through red dragons at that point, so I wasn't too worried about it.
Yeah, it ended up being a really good thing that you didn't gamble on sword being in the grave, because that would have ended, as we now know, or sword being in Sharlock, because that would have ended badly as we know. How about the start of that race too for both of you? Game gave you a lot, the seed gave you a lot, and as I pointed out, it was kind of funny. It was about 6 minutes before we saw our first experience because there was just so much stuff.
Yeah, I'll be really interested to see what both of our strategies were, but I kind of shotgunned it. I looked for everything I could. I walked outside first because I didn't want to waste time gold grinding like I have in the past races without a city nearby, and saw a city, went and checked it, decided, well, I have an extra key, I might as well make sure I'm not trying to buy broadsword with Erdrick's sword sitting in Garenham. So that was an interesting start, to say the least.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and spoil for you. I did the full gold grind to start off, and then just happened to luckily find Garen right away, but I didn't gold grind enough to pick up everything in Garen, and then also a flame sword in Cantlin. So I had to take a little extra time later on to pick up enough to pick up flame sword, because I didn't bother exploring Garen's grave for a little while, even after I had found it. So flame sword was helpful, but it took me a lot of extra time to get it.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's an aggressive call, but I like that call. I really think it's kind of the smart play. I just didn't want to get burned like I have a little bit in past games trying to keep my gold.
It was an interesting start because you guys did both do different things in a little different order, but all kind of converged at the same spot. And like I said, you guys both did all your errands and were out grinding at almost the exact same time. So it was very interesting to see that. And then after that start, after it all came together and kind of looked like you might have had an easier seed because, you had your broadsword, you had your really good defensive stuff. The game decided that you needed some challenging enemies to fight. How'd you guys do through that? What was your guys' strategy that mid game when the seeds seemed to be kind of mean to you guys?
Yeah, it was. I'm sure the better player won here because the resources that gave us were really, really crunching us on how to do exploration and killing things, all that balance, that can really, really put you ahead if you can balance on that knife's edge correctly and not waste any time in either direction of exploration or wandering around without MP or something like that. I had a lot of time lost where I was exploring, but I had to run away from Magic Wyverns and Knights and things like that. And that really can cost you, especially in the mid game when those guys are so efficient on experience gain when you have hurt more.
Yeah, I think I found a red dragon, I want to say one of my first trips after getting a few levels. I went south and just ran smack into the fun police, and I said, well, all right, so there's going to be fun police all over this seed, kind of like my race with Jackamus a while back. Luckily, these ones didn't wombo, but we still couldn't handle them for quite a while. So I kind of thought, well, even if something's going to take most of my resources, I'm just going to try to kill it. So I did. I think I took out, I don't know, a Magic Wyvern or something pretty early when I think I was going to 600 experience. It might be like level 7. So I just kind of said, well, it's going to give me not very much rope to run on, so I'm just going to run to the end of the rope and die as often as I can.
Yeah, my issue early on was I also explored that desert just next to Hawksness without being able to see Hawksness. I was probably only a few tiles away from actually being able to see it. I encountered a red dragon, and Tristluck reared its head, where I was able to run away on the very first try from the red dragon. And then a few steps later found a blue dragon that I tried to run from 7 or 8 times and failed. So, yeah, that was a pretty fun clip there, I imagine.
We did see that. We did make note of that. We didn't attribute it to Tristluck, though. We attributed that to the fact that the randomizer plays with different probability rules than any of us know or understand.
Yeah, just in general, the seeds with lower agility can be a real challenge trying to get away from some of that stuff. But I'm not feeling very salty about this loss at all. I definitely got outplayed, and then the map just does map things. It wasn't a matter of, I went to Charlock and then I had terrible Charluck or anything like that. So I still feel pretty good about going into the elimination rounds later on.
Yeah, I mean, we were noting that, if you had wrapped up your dive, you would have only been 6 or 7 minutes behind, if that. So that's not too terribly far behind. And it was neck and neck when you guys were looking for the armor and swords. It was absolutely a very, very close race.
How tough did Charlock end up being? Did it have like red dragons and AKs?
It had every terrible enemy on the first couple floors, and then it started to get nicer. I think I saw my first werewolf on the second zone in Charlock. But the first zone was very much lucky, and I kind of decided on my dive that I don't have the ring, but I'm not going to go looking for it because Charlock seems to be being kind to me for once. So I didn't have Charlock, and I was just going to keep running towards the Dragon Lord.
My only other question is, did you manage to kill any metal slimes? I didn't even see one until like an hour 15 in Swamp Cave Grind.
So I saw them for like the first hour and, I don't know, hour and 5 minutes, and they all back attack ran me. So I didn't discover that they had Dragon Lord Baby Breath until about 70 minutes in, and then I crit one at 72 minutes in for, I want to say 72 damage. So I thought that was kind of an interesting, thing of RNG.
Yeah, you both, or Bobski saw them. I'm not sure when you saw your first one, Tristal, but we saw them popping up from time to time, but no one got a kill on them until, Bobski was in the middle of his Axe Knight grind and stepped off the tile and saw a metal slime and just excellent moved it right out of the way. But that was deep into the grind, so it wasn't as big a factor.
Yeah, actually, that was a really inconvenient thing about that grind, is that I kept seeing metal slimes that would just show up and like baby breath me, and I'd miss twice, and then they'd run away. And it just, takes extra time / takes 20 hit points from you, randomly.
Yeah, on a similar note, the one I killed was another excellent move, but it was like on the way to Cantlin to heal MP for the Axe Knight grind. Like, again, it didn't really make any big difference. I was more worried about it that maybe you had found one, between like level 6 and 7 or something like that and just cruised into Heartmore.
I was wondering if you had found one, like if you decided to dive the basement of Tanagal right at the beginning, because they were in Mountain Cave as well. I saw them very early on, but I already had too much strength. So if you went in there at level 1 they wouldn't have been able to run, but they would have killed you pretty quick if you got unlucky with baby breath. So I was reassured, but I thought maybe I'm very behind just based on, you know, RNG.
Yeah, I had seen that it was Mountain Cave early, but I didn't bother going back till pretty late.
Yeah, those metal slimes didn't really need to be scared. They had defenses. They had baby breath. So level 1 metal slime probably wouldn't have gone. So just wrapping this up here, Game Boy in chat putting the current bracket rankings in. So I want to ask you guys how you're feeling going into your bracket stages. Looks like Bobski, you've got the 3rd bracket seed as it stands right now, and Tristal, you're at 16th. So how do you guys feel about that? I know that I'm not looking to pull Tristal as a 16th seed. Geez, this is going to be a tough bracket.
I mean, at the same time, if I'm the 16 seed, I'd have to... Well, I guess how many people are going to be in the bracket? 31, 32 or something like that? It really just depends on the matchups here that'll play out. You know, as a 3-2, it's fairly likely that you'll get a 5-0 or one of the really good 4-1s. So for me, it's really all about dodging the really tough people in the bracket and doing what I can.
Yeah, you know, I think this one could have gone either way. I know Tristal said the better runner won, but I think it was the luckier runner for sure. I was concerned that this race was going to go very differently for me. And, you know, I think when we go to the elimination rounds, anything can happen, you know. So I'm happy to go 4-1, but, you know, we'll see what happens. I think having Jackamus as my one loss also helps out. I think he went to 5-0, so I think that helps the rankings a little bit. But rankings are just a number in front of the name when it starts, once we say go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there is any easy bracket matchup for sure. Looking at some of these results, looking at some of these records, I know that that Game Boy F9 himself is a 3-2. So yeah, you're gonna pull a easy rank, easy seed. Yeah, I don't think so. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be a challenging bracket. Alrighty, so with that, any last comments? Any last thoughts from you guys?
I want to say thank you to y'all for getting this Ream stream together. I know it's kind of a non-traditional time, you know, not in the prime time when everyone's available. So I want to say a huge thank you to you, Rai Guy, the Amused Miniature. I actually don't know who was tracking today. It might have been Ali Gerbrap, but I could be wrong. And thanks for the restream as well. I believe it was Cyberdark. So thank you, everybody. I do appreciate it.
Yep, GG to Bobski. I'll reiterate the thanks to all the staff and everybody watching too. I hope you guys are enjoying the tournament and looking forward to the elimination bracket.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you to our runners, Bobski and Tristal. It's a good way to spend a nice Saturday morning. Now we can all get to our barbecues and cookouts. So a good way to start the day for sure with that good race. So thank you guys. Thank you to Ali for tracking and Cyberdark for restreaming. And thank you everyone for watching. Thank you again to the Amused Miniature, who was co-commentating with me. He went off to go restream a little Randomania race between Up2NG and Melee Wizard, which, as Game Boy 9 points out, F9 points out, is going to start in 13 minutes on Randomania. So if you'd like to continue your leisurely Dragon Warrior Randomizer watching, we have you covered. You've got a few minutes to go grab some snacks, find a nice comfy spot on the couch, and settle in for what's going to be another really, really good race. So with that, we're going to close it out here. Again, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all later. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your Dragon Warrior Randomizer tournament day.